Sorry, you guys. I'm already laughing because I made the mistake of looking at the comments section. And it's 11:01. Good morning, everybody. Hey, now, y'all. But I look over Creative Tony and I see the first thing G-Man Music checked in. He goes, as Ted Knight said in Caddyshack, well, we're waiting. Dude, G-Man Music, I feel you, dog. Good morning, Creative Tony. How's your head? There's so much to get into today, but just some formalities. How are you, my friend?
I'm not good, man. I'm not good.
Oh, okay.
I mean, of course, there's many things to be thankful for.
Well, there's degrees of good. How are you not feeling good? I hope it's mild and not serious.
I'm pissed off about the weekend, right?
Right.
I'm pissed off about the weekend. We have to do a rest in peace to Dom's drawing of the Lions and
listen, nobody said the NFL playoff landscape was a cakewalk. I mean, the Lions, I can't imagine a scenario where Dan Campbell let his guys look past Washington and assume that they're just going to be headed to Philly.
Right.
But I got to say, I was totally surprised. And Creative Tony, you deserve a round of applause, dude. You called the Commanders. You took, that's correct, right? You took the Commanders to the hot and sour. Yeah,
I did. Yeah, I mean,
impressive.
It's that Jaden Daniels and connection with McLaurin, man. Those two, and I mean, I just did. You see Dan Campbell's post-game press conference by any chance?
I did.
Oh man, if I could reach through the TV screen and give the man a hug, I would have, because I felt like, God, he didn't he wore it, man. He said, it's my fault. I didn't have these guys ready. Like, he was saying all kinds.
Well, you got to,
he's crying. I was like, man, first of all, that's a guy that I want to play for. Number one,
right?
They're really is all about the team and the chemistry and the heart. I mean, he was talking about what these guys lay on the line every week, and it just helps to have a coach that's actually been there and done that when you get to the postseason, because he was a tight end, and he knows the pain that goes into the season now, which is now a 17-game regular season.
Right.
And I just felt so. And they showed. Oh, I shouldn't laugh.
No, go ahead. Come on, let's talk about it. That's why we're here.
They showed the Lions fans towards the end of the game, and I'm like, is there a more depressing sight than these just super bummed out Lions fans, man? I just felt so bad for them.
All right, well, cool your horses, T. Let's not go too deep into the Lions game because we got other things to address.
Right.
We'll go into that. We'll get into that.
Oh, Pete, by the way, do you like my new backdrop?
Right? I like it a lot. I like it a lot. It's a whole new. I don't miss the catastrophe of items you had jammed behind you. This is a much more pleasant look to the eye. Thank you.
Well, it was Bob Marley and Jerry Rice and Ronnie Lott, and I wanted to kind of pay my respects as we launched the show. And now I'm kind of more situated into more like a living room vibe.
All right, well, good. It's working for you. And shout out to a 22 out there. Will the Thrill is in the house. Yeah. Hey, now one last thing on the Charger game, just as far as what it's like from the fans kind of standpoint when you are
Lions game.
What did I say?
Charger.
Wow, I don't know where that came from. Hey, Monday morning. How's my destroyed head? By the way, I was hanging out with my buddy Brian Narag over the weekend. They had a big party out in Vacaville. He was visiting for the weekend. So I literally am still recovering from that. When I said Chargers, I meant the Lions. Because that Lions game, that loss reminded me of the 87 49er loss to the Vikings in the first round of the playoffs. The Niners were 13. Yes. That was that strike season. So they only played 15 games. The Niners went 13-2 that year. So they were the number one seed in the NFC. I assumed they would waltz right into the NFC Championship and then the Super Bowl. And the Lions took it to them. Or excuse me, the Vikings came out here to San Francisco and took it to them and won the game. And that's the thing. Like, we've been in that spot before that the Lions fans are in now, although they didn't have Super Bowls. Which the Niners had at that point. I was
going to say the Lions fans are looking back to 1957.
It's rough. Yeah. No, it's really rough. I mean, and Goff picked a bad day to turn the ball over. It was just, dude, all the credit goes to the Commanders. They outplayed them. They did. They made plays. They outplayed the Detroit Lions.
Why are you having? I know we're going to go deeper, but one question, Paulie, and we'll ask you about it later. Why are you having Jameson Williams throw a pass when you're down 10? I mean, what?
It's a joke. I mean, it was an ill-advised call. They were trying to get a spark, maybe get a flag down the field, but no.
Run the ball. Jameson Williams is known for his speed. Just take off around the end, beat somebody around the end.
Well, Creative Tony, while you're encouraging the Lions to run the ball, maybe we can forward that to next year. I would encourage Sirianni, your guy coaching the Eagles over there. Maybe you don't want to. Maybe you don't want to have Jalen Hurts running around trying to throw passes when you've got the best running back in the freaking NFL who's tearing shit up out there. And he rushed for over 200 yards yesterday. My hat's off to Saquon Barkley. That guy's a stud, flat out.
Super stud.
Giants, good move, letting him get away. And you guys enjoyed another 3-14 seasons, some such nonsense. Any case, the championship game, championship games are set up. We got the Buffalo Bills headed to Kansas City. Lots to talk about with that Chiefs game. I want to do that in a second. And then, of course, in the NFC, you'll have the Commanders heading up to Philly. So good championship Sunday set up. We'll talk about it on Friday when we get into our hot and sour picks. But Creative Tony, we got to talk about the big story of the weekend, which is my involvement or my comment with the Kansas City Chiefs and the refs. I sent it to, well, in fact, you know what, Tony? It might be better if you tell the story because, no, and I'll tell you why. Because the way Tony has all this access to my account, we kind of share the Twitter account, the Paulie's Pod account. Tony's got his hands in that thing. So I think you should tell the story because you're kind of the one who came to me and were freaking out. You're like, my phone's blowing up. So go ahead. The floor is yours, Tony. But let's talk about what happened Saturday morning before the kickoff of that Chiefs game. Go ahead, T.
Well, Saturday morning, yes, I'm actually coaching or not coaching. I'm at my daughter's soccer game, and Paulie sends me this. Hey, let's tweet this. And the exact tweet said, Paulie, if I can, it said. Hang on, let me get to the exact tweet.
I know what it said. It said this. I wrote the sentence. I said,
here it is.
Yeah, go ahead.
A look at Andy Reid coaching up his starters before the game. Actually, I'm going to just share the tweet right now, Paulie. Just
okay,
so
good.
Everybody
That's
can
a good
see
idea.
The actual tweet, right? I'm going to share it right now.
Yeah.
So everybody can see the actual tweet. A look at Andy Reid coaching up his starters before the game.
Okay. Now stop right there. Stop right there, T, just for a second. So I want to set the stage a little bit. Saturday morning, I'm chilling, right? I got my coffee brewing. It's a Saturday morning, man. I'm relaxing. I'm hanging out in the house. I got
my coffee.
Yeah, I got my coffee. And I certainly did. Making coffee. Who wants coffee? Shout out to my coffee pillow located right behind me here. I'll display this from Andy Dolich sent this in. Thank you, Andy Dolich, for my coffee pillow. So anyway, I'm watching this pregame show and I see Andy Reid literally huddled up with the refs before kick. And I go, you know what? I've had enough. That was my breaking point. That was my breaking point with this kind of love affair between the NFL and the Kansas City Chiefs. They're trying to prop up the Chiefs, saying they're going to be the greatest team we've ever seen in the history of the NFL. I would dispute that all damn day. I think there were lots of teams that came before the Chiefs that were far beyond what this Chiefs team is fielding. But in any case, I got pissed off. So I made a joke out of it. I just said, so I did, by the way, dude, you want to talk about low technology, low level technology, Tony? That picture, I literally was standing in front of my TV with the phone. I just took a picture of the TV, tweeted that picture out with the image. So Tony, go ahead, pick it up from there.
So I'm going to stop the share for now and get back to us. So then my daughter had a soccer game followed by my son's basketball game. So then I had to watch the Chiefs game kind of in catch-up mode where I'm fast forwarding through timeouts and commercial breaks. And then finally I get caught up, but my phone was buzzing all afternoon. And I'm like, okay, God, I can't wait to get to this Chiefs game. I can't wait to get, and I'm watching the game and things are happening, but nothing like unworldly or totally out of the ordinary is happening. I mean,
no, it's you know what, Tony? For the Chiefs, it was business as usual.
Totally, right?
A nonsense phantom roughing the passer call in the first quarter on a third down. Always on a third down. Here comes the flag. There was no head-to-head contact. It was a football play.
It was a football play.
What's the
guy supposed to do? What's he supposed to do?
Give him a kiss. Maybe give him a kiss. Pick him up, grab his ass, give him a kiss. I don't know. But here's the thing. Dude, it's just so frustrating. Week after week, year after year. Now that drive, that phantom roughing the quarterback call in the first quarter.
That was a 3rd and 10, by the way, or 3rd and 8.
Dude, it always comes on third. That's why I've had enough of this bullshit. So,
yes, the swear jar is on fire. And by the way,
listen, genie's out of the bottle, dude. I'm letting it fly today. I don't care.
Hold on real quick on our comment section. Shout out Leah Phillips. I just want to say,
hey, Leah, thanks. I got a potty mouth today. Thanks for cleaning up after me. So, Creative Tony, that drive was extended, and the Chiefs cashed in with a field goal. They wound up getting 3 points out of that when the ball should have been punted on the 4th down. So
if that ball gets punted, who knows what changes in the game? The Texans get decent field position, and the Texans were playing good ball.
Dude, they deserve tons of credit. If the refs weren't in their way helping the Chiefs move downfield, the Texans actually might have won that game. I will contend that. They might have.
And Fairbairn, you may have kicked your last kick as a Texan also. because you
Okay.
also.
Well, he had a rough day. Missing points.
Dude,
I know.
He had a rough day. He missed a field goal and two PA, and then a PAT, and then a PAT blocked. And
Hey, by the way,
PAT wasn't like a great block. It was a low kick.
Hey, Creative Tony, shout out Jake Moody. You want to talk about missed field goals? Let's shout out Jake Moody. We got our own problems out here in San Francisco.
Totally.
Trust me. So, in any case, listen, I just reached a breaking point. I sent that tweet out. So pick it up, T. Go ahead.
Yeah, so my phone's going bonkers. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna kind of like, I didn't want to check my phone because I didn't want to know the score of the game because I wasn't caught up. But it was buzzing way more than normal because I have notifications set up to my phone from Twitter and Instagram and so then all of a sudden finally I get caught up and I look at my phone and I go, what? This is interesting. What? And so I look at the tweet and people are all liking and sharing this tweet that Paulie did earlier in the day. And it was up to like 810,000.
I've never had a tweet that big in my life. Like most of my I mean, I was like, whoa, so we were sitting there going 800,000. Damn, I touched the nerve today, but go ahead.
Yeah. And then it got over 1.1 million. And I was like, okay, this is bonkers. I don't know what's
crazy.
Going on.
No, it's nuts.
Bonkers. And so then I started texting Paulie, who I felt bad because I knew you were at a party with Brian Rags. So I felt bad, but I'm like, I got to talk to. This is like, I got to talk. So next thing you know, Paulie calls me from the party.
And by the way, when I talked to you on the phone, there was like 200 people at this party. I'm not exaggerating. There was huge. They had a DJ and stuff. There was a big food spread. So I literally had to go inside the house to talk to somebody's house, not even my house, but now I'm sitting in there making calls. So Tony called me to tell me, dude, your thing is blowing up, and go ahead.
And so then I just kept monitoring it, and I'm like, hey man, let's post something else just to get in on the party. And so we posted another tweet, and now this tweet is it's approaching 3 million views.
What the hell, man? Hey, at Creative Tony, so we're at 2.8 million views on that rather innocuous tweet, if I may. I mean, it wasn't that loaded. I mean, I guess it just kind of caught fire. And I've found from this tweet that lots and lots of people feel the same way. I got a lot of comments. Now, we're talking globally here. This is not specific to the Bay Area. Just in case people think, oh, Paulie Mack he's got it in for the Chiefs because they've beaten the Niners twice in the Super Bowl. And yeah, I hate that. It sucks. But I will say that's not specific to the Bay Area, and I learned that from reading all the comments. They were coming from all over the world, being like, I'm sick of it. I've had enough. Now, Creative Tony, fast forward to this morning. So today I get up and I'm getting ready for the show, and I like to put on ESPN in the morning and maybe pick up a couple of notes and stuff that I might have missed. So I'm watching, and here comes Pat McAfee. He's broadcasting live from the national championship, which we will get into. And also, I should have said this at the top of the show, but anyway, happy MLK Day. I know a lot of people are home today. It's a national holiday. I heard your kids running around, so everybody's home today, chilling, getting ready for the game. And when I talk MLK Day, Tony, I got to shout out you too. Because when The Unforgettable Fire came out, they had a hit single, Pride in the Name of Love, about Martin Luther King. In fact, they bookend it, and then the album ends with MLK, which is kind of an a cappella. It's an Irish prayer, as Bono would say. But anyway, Martin Luther King Day, you guys enjoy and celebrate responsibly. Tony, sorry to cut you off. Go ahead, man.
No, I was just going to say that when we're done with this show, I'm sitting down with my kids and my wife, Megan, and we're going to watch I Have a Dream. We've done it every year. Because
good for you.
It's so important. And I wish I could find it. I have a drawing that my daughter did like 4 or 5 years ago of MLK. That's just phenomenal. I wish I had it because they do a great job at their schools celebrating MLK as well. So,
hey, Creative Tony, just a little rock and roll connection to the I Have a Dream speech. Don't know if you know this or remember this or ever read this or didn't read this, because it's not common knowledge, actually. I found that I've told people this, and they're like, oh, wow, really? The I Have a Dream speech that day. Did you know that Bob Dylan did a couple of acoustic songs prior to MLK speaking, giving a speech? Yeah,
I did not.
Yeah, Bob Dylan played some songs earlier that day. They had a variety of speakers, and in the middle of that bunch, they had Bob Dylan come out and play. So, and by the way, I saw the new Bob Dylan movie, Complete Unknown. I'm going thumbs up. I enjoyed it very much. Shout out to Timothy Chalamet, whatever the hell kid's name is. He did a good job, and the girl who played Joan Baez was fantastic. I definitely endorsed the movie. I want to go back to the Chiefs, but go ahead, T. I know.
Yeah, well, two things on that tip. I want like a deeper movie review from you on the Dylan movie.
I'll give it to you. Yeah,
obviously when it's not just a
Not
pissed
today.
off Monday about Mahomes flop, the Mahomes freaking flop. We'll get to it later. We have bookmarks that we're going to get to. But I also
And
just
a Tony's top 3, if I may. I'd like
and
a
Tony's top 3, but
on a
I wanted to
Monday.
just,
You know?
I wanted to just give love because you know what I did Saturday night before. No, I'm sorry, Friday night before the Football Madness was I needed to clear my head and just nourish my soul. So I went and saw Jerry's Middle Finger at the Guild Theater in Menlo Park.
Great
If you
band.
get a chance to go see Jerry's Middle Finger, please do it. And was it an encore? I think the encored with they did Dear Prudence and then they did Tangled Up in Blue, and it was just I mean the vibes in that room were just so thick and rich with goodness. So yes.
Hey, listen,
anyways.
Creative Tony, for the audience who doesn't know, Jerry's Middle Finger is a
Yep.
Jerry Garcia band, tribute band. They don't play
Yes.
Grateful Dead. They play
Yes.
Jerry Garcia band. I've seen them too. They're outstanding. They've got the female backup singers. They got the whole thing. And the kid who plays, or he's not a kid, but the guy doing the Jerry stuff is great. And Tangled Up in Blue, Bob Dylan's song. That was actually the last song I ever saw the Jerry Garcia band play.
That's cool. How many verses? How many verses in Tangled Up in Blue? Like 8?
8, 9, 10.
Yeah.
Desolation Rose got like 16. But anyway, Tony, we're not here to talk Dylan today. I got to get back.
Sorry,
I know. I
like
Dylan. I like the Dead, but I got to get back on track here.
And on the comments, real quick, I just got to say, look at this one from G-Man Music. Yes, I am pissed off for greatness today, and Paulie is too, because we've been texting all weekend about. Go ahead, Paulie.
So I know. People are pissed. I'm pissed too. So anyway, I finally learned that a lot of people feel the same way. So fast forward to this morning. I'm having my coffee. I got ESPN on. That's where we left this. And all of a sudden, I see McAfee talking about what I assume was the tweet that I sent out, which is nuts, dude. It's being discussed on a national sports morning show. McAfee, and they were saying, McAfee even said, he goes, listen, I got to admit, I'm getting tired. Mahomes should not be out there flopping around. Even McAfee acknowledged it today. Troy Aikman essentially said this is complete bullshit in the game. I mean, he was this close to saying that because Troy Aikman played in an era where they were really playing football. G-Man Music had a comment on the comments line earlier today and said, can you imagine what the Niners could have accomplished if Joe had the same kind of protection at Mahomes? Without exaggerating, Joe probably would have won a couple of more Super Bowls if they were protecting him the way that Mahomes is protected. And Troy Aikman is one of those guys too. He quarterbacked one of the greatest teams in the history of the NFL, that early 90s Cowboys team with honestly the greatest offensive line I've ever seen. And he got his ass kicked a million times. He got concussed. He got pushed around and tackled and thrown to the ground after he let go of a pass. And you know what? Mahomes has never experienced that, which is one of the reasons why I don't automatically usher him to the top of any all-time great list, because he's never been hit. The guy
and the freaking tap dancing along the sideline and baiting defenders to try.
Let's stop right there.
By the way, this is a nice tease for the bookmark segment, Paulie, because I want to go back and play the video of Joe Buck and Troy Aikman talking about that.
I would love that.
So just
all right,
it's a nice
pause
tease
right there. Okay,
yeah.
Pause right there. Now,
go.
Even Chris Rose last night on NFL Network, I'm watching the highlight pack. What's it called? NFL Game Day Final, whatever. Their post game show. So I'm watching that, and Chris Rose, who's a good friend of the Murph and Mac show. I like Chris Rose. What's up, Chris?
Yeah.
Even he said, it kind of looks, while they were showing highlights, he goes, it kind of looks, it's almost like Mahomes is out there looking for an illegal hit. The way he's doing his little song and dance.
He's trying to get it. That's trying to get it.
He's waiting to get hit so the refs will throw a flag. Now, fourth quarter, and then after this, I want you to cue up by the way, I almost feel like a serious sports broadcaster today. What the hell's going on? We're discussing sports, and I'm pushing Bob Dylan and the Dead to the side. It's highly unusual, but no.
We could always mingle it in, though. We'll
Creative Tony, fourth quarter. Okay, here comes my guy, Henry To'oTo'o from De La Salle. He literally jumps over Mahomes.
Yep. Dude, he collided with his own player. He
collided with his own player. And now, I just muted. I yelled so loud, I just muted my mic. They have a noise canceling thing on these mics, and I just activated it. I started yelling. Awesome. I guess, yeah. So that's the first time that's ever happened. So two Texans hit each other. Well, it's close enough. Here's another 15-yarder. Let's move the sticks. Let's move them down the field again. So, dude, I've had it. Enough is enough. When you've got truly reputable and established broadcasters and people like Troy Aikman, an NFL Hall of Famer, acknowledging that what we're watching is starting to get to the point of the ridiculous. You got to let the players decide these games, man. If Mahomes can't convert a first down on third, That's it. Then you punt the football. That's
exactly.
That's the rules of the game, dude. It's not like, well, they didn't get the third down. Let's come up with a flag so they can move the chain. So I'm sick of it. I know you're sick of it. Lots of people I've talked to are sick of it. And the tweet that generated almost 3 million views apparently agree as well. Because I would say like 90% of the comments were in agreement with what I said. Now, there were some angry Chiefs fans. Oh, you guys are crying.
Keep crying. Yeah.
There weren't many of those, though. There weren't.
No, there were not.
No,
there were not. I saw somebody else on Twitter that said, hey, I understand that people, felt the same way about Brady as they do about Mahomes, but Brady never pulled that sideline crap about trying to get baiting players to hit him and then flopping as he's untouched, flopping worse than any soccer flop you'll ever see in the history of soccer. It was so embarrassing. I can't even. That play pissed me off so bad because you have defensive players that are trying their hardest not to hurt him, but their job is to tackle him, and now he's baiting
football, dude. You don't have to explain. It's unbelievable that we have to talk this way. We're talking about football. The pass rusher's job is to get to the quarterback. He's not going to give him a kiss. He's not going to make out with him. He's going to tackle him. That's what football is. It's a physical sport. I can't believe we got to go through the fundamentals here on the Paulie's Particle broadcast. And we're usually not revving this hot, but clearly we've all seen and heard too much at this point. Creative Tony, could you bring me the Troy Aikman tweet? I'd like to see that.
Yeah, I mean, if we want to start Bookmarks, might as well just start Bookmarks because it's all related.
Okay.
It's all related to the weekend. So let's just get into some Bookmarks, Paulie.
Can you put up the tweet also where that I sent out this morning of Mahomes flopping on the sideline? Can you show that?
We're gonna get to it. We're gonna get to it. But first of all, I just want to show this. This is a new. I'm gonna get you a new hat. Okay. I just want to get you a new hat.
Wait, don't let me Canyon in hat.
For the rest of the postseason, I'm gonna get you a new hat. There you go, buddy. Okay, I'm gonna buy you a new hat. All right.
Okay, fine.
Is that fantastic with the KC logo?
By the way, it's got curious colors: white with a green brim. I don't know what that's about. The bill is green. Interesting color scheme. Maybe that's a Notre Dame fighting Irish kind of premonition. I don't know.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, it's good.
That's funny.
Yeah.
But here, but let me find the I'll find the play right here. Oh, right here, buddy. Right here. So hang on one sec.
Go ahead,
hang
Tony.
On one sec. Yes. So let me just share this.
Tony, go ahead. Tony,
oh my goodness, hang on, P. Because I wanted the audio. I was like, okay, so this is Aikman and Troy. I'm sorry, Joe Buck, basically saying you got to be kidding me. And here it is. Let's get the thank you. Credit to Awful Announcing, by the way, for putting this up.
And take off to his right. And then slide down.
Oh, that was too close. Yeah, let's throw a flag. Mm-hmm. That's Henry. Yeah.
I mean, it was a late slide, but they throw the flag, and it was Clay Martin who threw it.
Here we go.
I know. There's your boy. Look at him. Best of all time, Tony. Best we've ever seen.
That's number 39.
Yeah.
15-yard penalty. Here's the end of it. Yeah, I mean, he's a runner, and I could not disagree with that one more. And he barely gets hit. That's the second penalty now that's been called against the Texans.
Yeah, Troy, I agree with you. There's no forcible contact to the head neck area of him. The two Houston players hit each other. That should not have been a foul.
That should not have been a foul. That's from the rules analyst hired by Fox to talk about the calls. It's like I would maddening, Paulie.
Troy Aikman's opinion on these matters to me is very valuable, and it matters because this is a respected He's got 3 Super Bowl rings, for Christ's sake. I don't need to tell you Troy Aikman's resume. So to hear him, because he's sick of it. We're all sick of it. Can we let him actually decide the game on the field on Sunday?
Yes.
I would love that.
Yes.
Give Josh Allen and the Bills a legitimate shot. Let's put those flags in your pocket and let's let this thing kind of play out. Creative Tony, can I get the sideline flop now as I'm putting requests in? Yeah. And by the way, you didn't start Bookmarks yet. What's your Bookmarks?
No, that was our first. Well, that was our second bookmark. The first.
You know what it is?
Creative Tony, the hat I found you.
I know. Oh, by the way, shout out to Mike Brasino on the text line with a high-level comment where he said, I got a hat, as you can see. If you remember my Swaggy P soundbite I had at KNBR, I used to play that all the time. Soundboard is coming. It's coming, you guys. We'll get all that stuff back on the air. There's so much going on behind the scenes. Creative Tony, we are starting comments, but you know why I didn't know that? Because we got to get that open in place. Once the open comes, it'll tell a dimwit like me. Oh, that segment has started now. So I need
All
that.
right,
But
here
anyway,
we go.
Tony, go ahead.
Here you go. For your head, P. Here we
All right,
go.
yeah.
Right here. Okay, buddy. So there it
Yep.
is.
Yeah.
This is the NBA. Disgusting behavior. Look at Mahomes.
Who's that talking? Who is
we
that?
don't need his commentary, but it's somebody whoever posted that tweet. That is Alex Monaco. So thanks for sharing the tweet. But look at that flop.
I
mean, it's just
I see it.
like untouched.
Ooh, they touched me. I better.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm gonna throw my hands in the air and I'm gonna
Oh,
flop.
look, they touched me. Oh, yeah.
It's just a freaking joke, man.
It really is. And it's affecting the outcome of games, dude. It's affecting the outcomes of games in the regular season and in the postseason. And if you guys think I have some kind of like agenda against the Chiefs, I really don't. I'm just sick of this. I think the NFL would very much like to see the Chiefs become the first team in history to three-peat. But that's where I want to pause the conversation. Creative Tony, the Dallas Cowboys in the early 90s, they were a freaking wrecking machine.
Yep.
They couldn't three-peat. The 49ers of the late 80s, arguably one of the best football teams I've ever seen in my life, was the 1989, the 89 49ers. That's the year they beat the Broncos 55-10 in the Super Bowl. They basically destroyed everybody in their path. They were an incredible team. They couldn't three-peat, okay? They lost in the NFC Championship when they tried to get their third. So are you telling me that this Chiefs team is a better football team than those Cowboys teams or the late 80s?
No, or the Niners teams. No.
Right, but the NFL now is going to present them up on a pedestal and say, this is the greatest team we've ever seen. Mahomes is the greatest quarterback we've ever seen. We've never seen football like this. Oh, look at Travis Kelce. Oh, there's Taylor Swift. It's all this stuff kind of coming together in a perfect storm of bullshit now that the NFL wants everybody to watch and say, like, you can watch the greatest to ever play the game right now. They want the ratings up, and it's working. The Chiefs game got incredible ratings. T, go ahead.
Incredible ratings, and I just feel so much for these defensive players that are now they're scared shitless because they don't get 15-yarder called on them. And it's like, how do you tell a defensive player, hey, your job is to sack the quarterback, but you need to all the rules that are in place now to protect the quarterback. It's impossible for these defenders to play the game the way it's meant to be played.
That's right. No, that's well said. That's well said. By the way, Creative Tony, if you could do me a favor, I want to encourage everybody hanging out or watching the show, listening to the show. I'd love you to subscribe. Creative Tony, if you could put that information up on the bottom of the screen.
I will, but hang on. I want to show you the next bookmark, dude. The next
Let's go.
bookmark.
Keep them coming.
Are you ready?
Keep them coming.
Okay, here we go. There wasn't a flag for this hit on Jared Goff.
No, you see how his head's like,
But what would the consequences be if that was Patrick Mahomes? If that was
an ejection,
Mahomes,
an ejection.
Right.
If the defender did that to Mahomes, he'd probably be ejected.
Yes.
Helmet to helmet, concussion, off his feet, no flag. Right, Tony?
Yes.
No flag.
No flag. If that's Mahomes, who knows
it's
what would
World
happen?
War III. No, it'd be World War III. It would be like the end of the world. Armageddon would come to Kansas City if that ever happened. But see, now this
again, but real quick,
the NFL has a problem. This is a problem, dude. If you're going to officiate, you got to officiate consistently across the board. You can't give one team preferential treatment and say that quarterback is not to be touched. He is not to be touched. But everybody else, go ahead, get your head kicked in. I could care less, but not for the Muppet. The Muppet gets the protection.
By the way, speaking of the comment section, I got to give a shout out to Daddy Soda. I think it might be our buddy Paul. If that's you, Paul, what up, Daddy Soda?
It's got to be. No, it's got to be. And I'll wear the shirt for you soon, Paul. I've done gigs in that shirt, by the way. Nice. I did a gig with the Freestone Peaches wearing my Daddy Soda shirt. In fact, I shipped one back east for Rags. Rags is repping Daddy Soda on the East Coast. And by the way, this is he's a great guy. I love this kid.
Yeah, Paul rules. But look at that. The Bills just got called for roughing Mahomes, and it's only Monday. See, I mean,
very nice.
But again, when you have, I saw Ryan Clark talking about it. I saw, you were talking about
Chris Rose, Troy Aikman, Pat McAfee. Yep.
It's not just that we are rooting against the Chiefs as two local dudes rooting.
That's right.
Yeah, I am rooting against the Chiefs, but this has become a national story where it is truly evident that people that watch the game enough are seeing a bias in protecting a certain player, and it is not fair. It's just flat out
it's
not fair.
Right.
And that when you keep a drive alive for the Chiefs, it changes the complete the outlook of the game. And that was a 3rd and 8, I believe. I think it was a 3rd and 8 Might have been 3rd and 10. I think it was a 3rd and 8. Chiefs punt that ball away. Texans get the ball back. It's
That's
a
right.
six. It was what was it? 6-3 at the time.
Correct.
Who knows? Do the Texans march down?
That's
and
what I'm
score a
saying.
touchdown? Because the
That's what
Texans
I'm
are
saying.
playing good ball.
Mhm.
I mean, without their special teams gaffes, who knows too? Also, it might have been a different game as well. But it's been the story of the Chiefs all season long, man. And now I sure hope the Bills can go in and do some damage at Arrowhead.
Well, so do I. So do I. And the Bills, listen, let's talk about that game for a little bit too, because there were great games. We got a lot of good games this weekend. We're lucky.
Yes.
There were really no blowouts. Everything was tight enough and had not been decided late in the fourth quarter. So that Bills game, listen, what are your thoughts on that? I'm not going to beat up the drop pass. I don't want to beat up Mark Andrews. I mean, like, that's a play.
No.
The guys made plays all year long. They wouldn't have even been in that spot if it wasn't for him. I thought Lamar played great for just to look at things from the Baltimore perspective. And
yes.
the drop 2-point conversion, it's a heartbreaker. I mean, that's all it is. And if you watch the film of that, the replay, you can see his feet go out from under him. He kind of lost his balance. And as a result of that, I think he had a hard time kind of tucking that ball in, because his feet had just given out in the snow. He'd slipped out. So it was just an unfortunate play. And who knows what would have happened, even if he did convert that, like what happens in OT. It's anybody. Or Buffalo could have gone down and maybe tried a field goal. There was still time on the clock. So it was unfortunate. Yeah.
I want to give some love to a buddy of mine. His name's Jordan Trott, who played football for Virginia Tech under Frank Beamer. So I respect his football knowledge and his football experience. And I was watching the game with him last night, and he was like, oh, that ball is, and he played tight end. He's like, that ball is such a tough ball to catch, coming back trying to catch it on your hip.
He was essentially running backwards too. Yeah,
yes,
right.
Yes. So it's like, I feel for Mark Andrews too. And he fumbled earlier in the game. And I mean, hey, the turnovers are everything. And hey, Derrick Henry still looked good. Lamar didn't look as good as usual.
Yeah.
The Bills did what I didn't think they could do.
Couple quick reactions, Tony. First of all, you say turnovers are everything. You want to see my friend Rags' head explode? Watch this. In the 1982, the Dwight Clark game, the catch. Do you remember the Niners? 6 turnovers that day, buddy.
Yes,
six, and they still won. Unbelievable, 6 turnovers. You turn the ball over 6 times, you're not going to win on any level. Somehow the Niners pulled it off that day. Hey, you also mentioned Frank Beamer, your guy who your Virginia Tech guy. You got it. I mean, listen, Paulie's Particles is going to Paulie's Particles. So I got to shout out Willie Beamer, Jamie Foxx, the quarterback of the Miami Sharks in any given Sunday. You know what I mean? And you got Al Pacino, because on this team, we fight for that inch.
Yes.
Fight for that inch. That's my boy Al Pacino. Shout out Willie Beamer. Anyway, Creative Tony, sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Another bookmark for you, buddy. I just want to do this one more, because this is also, again, talking about the Ravens-Bills game in relation to Pat Mahomes. Do you remember this play with Lamar Jackson last night? Okay. See that play? Do you remember this play? If that's Pat Mahomes, again, watch this. Watch the Bills defender tackle him out of bounds.
100%. That's 15 yards. That's a 15-yard penalty for Mahomes. No, there's no question.
And like you said earlier, maybe even an ejection. Who flipping knows? But it's like, I just illustrating the protection.
Play that one more time. Let me see this again, T. Show that one more time.
Here we go. Tackled like 8 yards out of bounds.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
No problem. Hey, no problem. You want to know why it's not a problem, Tony? Because his name isn't Mahomes. That's why there's no problem. You could beat up any quarterback. No, I don't. Well, I explained it to you. I really think it's in the NFL's best interest to have a three-peat happen, and they think this is a legitimate team to do that. That's why this is going to continue until the Chiefs, joyride kind of falls over. What are you laughing at, dude? What's so funny?
I'm just looking. I want to show you my final bookmark because it's
show it to me.
It's from a reputable NFL player, a former NFL player. Mark Schlereth. Okay. Remember Mark Schlereth?
No, of course, dude. I love Schlereth.
Okay. Yeah. Me too. And he's really good in his NFL analysis. We should actually get him on the show, P.
Yeah, we should.
He loves talking
What is
ball.
this? Wait.
Look at this. I went back and watched the film and I realized I was wrong. You cannot hit the quarterback below the knees or in the helmet. I apologize, Patrick Mahomes.
Wait a minute. Who posted this?
Mark Schlereth.
Wow, dude. See, that's it. It's getting to the NFL is going to have to realize, dude, we've had it. It's clearly the jig is up, dude. It's
Right.
enough is enough when you've got guys like Schlereth checking in, Chris Rose, Troy Aikman, Pat McAfee. I mean, enough is enough, you guys.
Right.
I think your fan base, your customers are talking. Hey, NFL,
Yes.
your customers are talking. We're not happy about the product. So cut the crap and let them play real football this Sunday. Now, Tony, let's go back to that Buffalo Ravens game for a second.
Go.
I got to be honest with you. I was rooting for Buffalo. I took them in the hot and sour picks. I'm glad they won.
Yeah, I was rooting for Buffalo. I just thought Ravens would win the game. So thank you.
Yeah, how dare you lose a game on the hot and sour picks? What's your problem? By the way, Tony was awesome. You had an incredible run there. We did really well. I think both together as a tandem. We had a really what was our record roughly?
So we were this weekend?
Yeah.
We were 2-2.
No, for the whole season. The whole season.
Oh, so if we keep going, we were 35 and 19 going into this weekend.
That's not bad.
And we both went 1-1 this weekend. I would have gone 2-0 if it wasn't for Jake Elliott missing 2 PATs.
Hey,
that was a 6-point game.
Listen,
28-22.
You're not going to get a whole lot of sympathy from Paulie Mack today because if the refs let the Texans actually play football,
Right.
I might have won that game too. What was my spread? 8 points?
7.5. 7.5.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Just so I can lose by half.
And by the way, a shadiness at the end of the game, instead of punting the ball away, right? They take a safety to bring the score down to 9.
Why?
Because the spread, I think, got to 9.
No, but I'm saying, why would they do that on the field?
Because I don't want to be conspiracy
let it
theory
go.
guy,
Let it fly.
but
Let it fly.
who knows, Paulie? I'm just saying there was no need for them to do that.
Right.
And then all of a sudden it changes the spread. And Joe Buck even said,
yeah,
well, a lot of people are really interested in that play.
yeah. Hey, dude, I like your Joe Buck. By the way, that's my boy, Joe Buck. Don't be thinking it's not. I had we both did. We both had a night out with Joe Buck. It was a hell of a night. By the way, I don't know if you know about the aftermath, the final note of that weekend, because we had a big party down at the Ritz-Carlton in Half Moon Bay, and we were enjoying ourselves. Beautiful setting. Rags would love that golf course. That golf course is unbelievable on the
shores of the Pacific
Have you played
Ocean.
It?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
the 18th hole goes right. 18th hole goes right along the ocean and up into the the Ritz. It's amazing.
I forget why Joe Buck was at this party. I'm not sure why he was, but he was. Joe Buck. And by the way, that was one of the nights where we all got S-faced. All of us.
Yeah,
we were having it. In fact, Leah Phillips was there too. What's up, Leah? I actually got a picture of you and me and Tony together. But
Paulie,
the next morning, after we're hanging out drinking with Joe Buck and doing karaoke with Brent Jones, having a ball, I wake up the next morning to do the show because we're doing the show from the Half Moon Bay from like this restaurant they have there. Yeah. And I walk out of the hotel like 5 a.m, pitch black, freezing cold. All of a sudden I hear a true story. I hear a voice from the bushes. Hey, listen. Hey, go be great today. I said, what? And I look over, dude, Joe Buck is standing there. He must have been waiting for a ride to the airport or something. But Joe Buck was in the house, and he was standing like over by the bushes, so I couldn't see him. I just heard the voice, hey, go be great today. I'm like, damn, that's my boy now. Joe Buck, give him a fist bump, go do the show. Sorry, Tony, what did you want to say about it?
I think he was in town to do a Niner game.
And, that's right. Of course. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
And somebody told him, hey, we're doing this party at the Ritz. And he was like, well, yeah, I'll come on down. And I got to be honest, couldn't have been a nicer guy, Yeah. Really, I feel like there's a lot of Joe Buck haters out there. I actually think he's gotten better with age.
I really do too. I've softened on Joe Buck and I got to admit that night had a lot to do with it. Because he was a cool guy. Hanging out with Joe, he was nice. I can't be critical. He was super cool. I used to break his balls on the air, dude. Way back in the day, I was really hard on Joe Buck, and then Lee Hammer, our old boss, called Murph and I into his office one day, and he was like, "Listen, the Joe Buck's people are starting to get pissed. Like I'm pissed at the Chiefs. Joe Buck's people were sick of Paulie Mack." And then we had the big night out together. And from that night on, I'm like, you know what? Joe's okay with me. I got Joe Buck's back at this point.
That's why I loved him during that safety when he said, a lot of people are going to be interested in that play. And again, comments like that, acknowledging that what we're seeing is starting to get pretty suspect. Yeah. And I've seen this comment so many times on social media that it's turning into WWE, and nothing against WWE. I know it has a huge audience, but that's all scripted stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what their people are saying, that the NFL is becoming more scripted. I'm like, God, is it really getting to that point? I mean, the game is a great game as it is. You don't need to script it. You don't need to protect these players.
I will tell you this, Tony. I don't believe the games are scripted. I'm not going to go that far. I think I see a lot of people actually commented on that post I put up, the tweet I put up. There's a lot of people, oh, it's all rigged, it's all posted. I don't think the games are predetermined or anything. I think they let the guys play, but I think that the refs lean heavily in one direction, and that's over towards the Muppet and his merry band of flunkies over there. Also, creative Tony. So anyway, Buffalo going into Kansas City. I'm very happy for Josh Allen. I really believe that if the Bills are ever going to get to a Super Bowl like in this era, it's right now.
Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah.
They got a really good team. Last night, I mean, you saw Josh Allen can take it over himself, scoring those 2 touchdowns. The guy's a bull. I love him. And he's from where in Cali again? I know he grew up a Niner fan. Where in Cali was he originally from?
Firebaugh.
That's
Firebaugh, right. Which is
where
right
is
near,
Firebaugh? Where is that?
It's near Fresno, and it's near Shannon Kaler's hometown of Toll House, California. Hey man. By the way, Paul, you mentioned your tweet. For those of us who have joined us late, first of all, thanks for joining us. But if you joined us late in the program, I just wanted to share this again. You mentioned your tweet.
Yeah,
this is the tweet that Paulie and I put out on Saturday before the game. Paulie took a little screenshot of his TV screen. I
was just having some fun. I was just a harmless little riff. Although I was already my blood was starting to boil when I saw this. I'm like, this is horse ass. Why is he huddling up with the, already? The game hasn't even started. And he's like, hey, make sure those flags are flying.
And there you go, though. We're at 2.8 million views, so it was nice to see a lot of people sharing the same sentiments as you, Paulie, and me. Just sick of it, all. So I'm just sick of it. I really hope that there's a wake up call for the officials and for the NFL, that it's like, okay, we got to do something about this. We can't just sit there and keep protecting this guy.
That's right. Because it will. I mean, they are going to start to flood. I mean, the NFL is such a juggernaut, dude. They're just knocking over buildings like Godzilla. You know what I mean? Like it's the American pastime now. I mean, it's gone beyond baseball. It's beyond basketball. This is America's sport. And if they want their customers to continue to support the games, they're going to have to make this thing a little bit more even. I mean, because the scales are too heavily tipped in the direction of Kansas City, and I'm burnt on it. I'm just burnt out after all these years.
Totally, it's just old, man. It's just old, and I never want injuries to happen ever in football, but they're part of the game. And if Mahomes keeps pulling this crap along the sidelines where he just kind of he's like taunting and like baiting the play, he's gonna get blasted one of these days, and I sure hope he doesn't get hurt, but he's
due. He's due for a good football lick. And I'll tell you what, Ronnie Lott said this to us once on the Murph and Mac show. He said, hey man, he goes, sometimes this is Ronnie, man. I love Ronnie. Shout out Ronnie Lott forever. Ronnie goes, hey man, sometimes you got to take a 15 to make your point. And you know what? That's what you're talking about. Some guy at some point, and I hope it's Henry To'oTo'o next year if they see him again, just say, you know what? I'm going to unload on this fool. Because you know what? Even if you don't unload on him, you're still getting a flag.
Right.
So get your money's worth, dude. Knock this guy's ass in the next week if you're going near him, because the flags are coming regardless.
What is To'oTo'o supposed to do? I don't
know.
If somebody can give me a logical answer to that question, then the discussion will be over. But he's chasing a quarterback that has now become a runner. And when he becomes a runner, he is fair game.
Well
and
said,
then at
bro.
the very, very last second, Mahomes does this bullshit slide, half slide.
Like he's doing a little song and dance number out there. Give him a hat and a cane so he can break off some steps.
I was worried about To'oTo'o and the other guy colliding with each other. The two Texans.
They smacked heads. They smacked heads, those guys.
And it was a pretty vicious smack. And I'm like, I hope those two are okay.
That's the other part of football I think people have to take into consideration, that I've been lucky enough to be on the sidelines a couple times for an NFL game, and I'll tell you what, the speed of that game cannot really be appreciated unless you're like eye level and watching it like that. Yeah, it looks fast on TV, but when you're standing down there and you're surrounded by these redwood trees, these guys are, 6'5", they weigh over 300 pounds. Jesus Christ. And then you see what's going on. So you can't always control your actions. Like you said, Tony, you said when Mahomes leaves the pocket and tucks it in, he's a freaking runner. Dude, he's fair game. You can hit his ass. He's anybody else with the ball. He's a running back. He's a receiver. He's out in the middle of the field. Anything goes. He's a runner.
Right. That wasn't a slide. He did not go into a slide. He fell down and like flailed his feet out to make it look like a slide. It was
And
not a slide.
And that's the play that even Chris Rose said, like, I don't know. It's almost, he said, I don't know what's going on this play, but it looks like Mahomes is trying. He's waiting for a defender to come up and hit him.
Yes.
And it's like, rather than maybe try to advance the ball down the field, he's more concerned with waiting for contact so he can piss and moan to the officials. Anyway, we keep getting stuck back into Kansas City. I'm trying to get over to the other game.
Two other things, Pete. The NFL has this new replay assist, right? That can, like, on different plays, and it's like, if you have this replay assist and you can go back and see that a call on the field is called roughing the passer, and you can see, because the first roughing the passer wasn't roughing the passer either, because there was no helmet to helmet. The defender for the Texans, I'm blanking on his name, I apologize, but he went his face mask went right into the chest of Mahomes, and it was right after he released the ball. It was not roughing the passer. They should be able to go back and use replay assist.
So now
change the call. It changed the call.
Do you remember when Jim Burt knocked Montana back about 10 yards off his feet?
Yeah. No, I know.
I'm just saying, like, dude, those are guys that actually played football.
Right,
That's why Troy Aikman's sick of this shit. He's like, you know what, dude? I was in the NFL. I'm in the Hall of Fame, bro. I got 3 Super Bowl rings. I was an All-Pro at the Pro Bowl. Cut the crap.
Yes.
Why does this guy get protection that nobody else in the history? Now, people are starting to say, oh, what about the Patriots? Here's what I would say about the Patriots, because people actually contend that, the NFL gave preferential treatment to the Patriots. Did they? I mean, did they? Listen, Brady got suspended. Okay, they had deflate gate. There was all kinds of shit going on with the
Patriots.
I don't think the NFL gave them preferential treatment. I think when Brady got suspended, stuff like that, because he was such a great champion, he was like, fine, suspend me. Watch what I do when I come back. I'll go win another ring. And that's what he did. So I don't buy that argument, Tony. Do you feel that the Patriots got this kind of preferential treatment, or Tom Brady?
I feel like Brady played in an era that it continues today where quarterbacks are more protected.
What would happen if Ray Lewis? What would happen if Ray Lewis got loose with a full head of steam? What's he going to do? He's going to back off Mahomes when he gets to him? Because
imagine trying to tell Lawrence Taylor to play in today's game. Right?
Oh, dude, he must be disgusted. Honestly, Lawrence. Although I wish, like in my head, I have a fantasy. I would love to see Lawrence Taylor coming around the edge with that big, like, karate chop thing he used to do. I mean, that's the other thing, dude. Don't talk to me about roughing the quarterback. I saw Lawrence Taylor play, Holmes. Okay, it ain't there ain't nobody out there like LT anymore. Like up all week on a binge, and then like putting his pads on Sunday, just looking to take somebody's head off. You know what I mean?
Right. Correct.
Yeah.
And by the way, I got to get this off my chest, Paulie, and it has nothing to do with any specific game this weekend, but it's just my problem with the NFL. Can they please, for the love of God, install a buzzer the same way the NBA has a shot clock?
You keep talking about this
because it happened like 10 times this weekend.
Lay this out.
The clock's at 0, and the ball is snapped after the clock 0, and no delay of game.
Yeah,
I believe that it's very difficult to expect a referee to watch the play clock and watch what's going on the field for false starts, right? Or offsides.
You're saying like you're saying you'd like to have a buzzer and like the 24-second shot viation, like that.
As soon as the clock hits 0, I mean, hey, the NFL is big on noise and bells and whistles on the over the PA all game long. Why can't they have a buzzer go off as soon as the play clock goes to 0? Buzzer goes off, play is dead, delay a game.
Right.
But watch this coming weekend.
Right.
You're going to see the clock hit 0. And then like a half second to a second later, the ball snapped, play is live. And it's like that kind of stuff just bothers the bleep out of me, dude, because it's like we have the technology. The NBA's got to figure it out.
We have the technology. We can rebuild them. We can make them better, faster, stronger. Shout out Steve Austin and the
and by the way,
$6 million. Yeah.
Rockin' New Era 84. Thank you for this, dude. Yes. Can we just have a Commanders Bills Super Bowl, please? That's all. I just want
that'd be a great game. That'd be a great game.
It would be.
Let's talk about the Commanders. Let's talk about the Commanders for a second. What they've done is, I'm so impressed. I really am. I'm so impressed. I saw Nick Saban on ESPN this morning talking about Jalen, saying he was the toughest opponent Alabama faced.
Oh, really? Really?
Yeah. That's a guy with 7 national championships, by the way. Nick Saban.
Jaden plays the game like he's been in the league for 8 years.
It's really impressive. He really
reminds
is.
me, he plays it loose like Lamar Jackson does, like he's having a ton of fun out there. And
he's
I don't know.
He is.
Yeah,
he's special. Yeah.
He's special.
And also I would shout out CJ Stroud too for another young quarterback. He played his ass off this year, and he had a high level of composure also in less than ideal circumstances in Kansas City and throughout the season.
He got knocked on his ass a couple times. No flags.
No, it's fine.
Flags.
No, as long as it's not Mahomes. Flags we'll officiate as we should. But if it's Mahomes, all bets are off. Right. Do you like the Commanders? Do you like them having a shot in Philly?
Yes. Remember we talked before the playoffs, we were talking about how Washington is just this dangerous team, man. They play so loose. And there's a vibe. Remember we talked about it a couple weeks ago? It was hard to say, except it was just a vibe that they
There's a
have.
vibe, man. There's a vibe. Yeah. Man. Yeah.
And talking to my buddy, shout out Coach Bob down here in San Carlos, who's a big Eagles fan. He said the team I don't want to see the Eagles play is the Commanders.
Yeah.
Because of the way they play. And I could absolutely see the Commanders go in and beat Philadelphia, and I could see the Commanders go beating whoever wins at Arrowhead between the Chiefs and Buffalo.
Well, clearly the biggest upset of the weekend, right? I mean, the Commanders come in and did what I did not think they would be able to do. I thought Detroit would win that game by a couple of scores. I got to be totally honest. I thought the Lions were on their way, and I'm disappointed that they had to go home with I got no problem with the Commanders, zero, none. But I really was rooting for Detroit, to be honest with you. Like I really wanted them to take that next. They've never even played in a Super Bowl. Forget about winning one. They've never even made it. So I was like, you know what? For the love of God, let these guys have a moment. But no dice. And then you've got the the Rams and the Eagles. Let's talk about that game for a second too, just to acknowledge it because we haven't mentioned it.
Saquon, dude.
Wow.
Saquon.
I mean, what can you say? I'm impressed. And again, nice job, Giants, letting him get away. But what
can
were your thoughts?
Tell the way? Well, I was just watching him play. I feel like, man, he is like propelling that entire team to a higher level. I think they're all like riding. You want to talk about vibes? That guy seems like he wants a ring more than anybody else on that sideline. I mean,
I'll buy that. Yeah, that's a good call.
Yeah,
he does. He's very hungry. Yeah.
Very hungry. And man, you can't his ability to break tackles and break through initial contact is incredible. And remember like the old videos of like Earl Campbell, and it would take like 3, 4, 5 guys to bring him down. Bo Jackson the same way, Barry Sanders, Billy Sims, all these running backs, Walter Payton. He reminds me of them, where not one guy is not going to bring him down, and the first guy is not going to bring him down.
Hey, I'm sorry. No, you finished it.
I was going to say, unless it's behind the line of scrimmage and it's a busted play. But yeah, what do you got?
Well, I just wanted to, and again, I do apologize to you, Creative Tony. I apologize not about that, to everybody, because I get once I look at the comments, dude, I start cracking up. So anyway, I wanted to shout when you were doing that big explanation. I made the mistake of looking over. Anyway, I see Mike Verdu. That's one of our colleagues, Mikey V. He was like, he's on some weird anti-Lion trip, which is odd because like the Lions have never posed a threat to the Niners like ever. They did play in the playoffs though with Billy Sims in the early 80s. They did have a title game against Detroit and they won. But but Mikey V is all bent on the Lions. He's dropping his F the Lions. I don't know where that comes from. But I don't know. I don't know how anybody could have like harsh feelings toward the Lions. What have they ever done except lose games until Dan Campbell arrived?
The Jameson Williams play. I'm like, I could not believe you're gonna have Jameson Williams throw a pass when you're down 10 and you're you're driving, and it's like you have a really good quarterback in Jared Goff.
Yeah.
And they already did a great play with Jameson Williams earlier in the game for that touchdown. And it's like, okay, so maybe if you're going to do that play, use his wheels, not his arm. And it was just such an ill-advised pass.
Yeah.
Like, or throw it away. I couldn't believe that.
Well, that would have been smart. Yeah. Just get rid of it. I thought that the Rams did a pretty respectable job going in there playing in, less than ideal weather conditions that they're not used to at all. Like Stafford, dude, you know what? The guy Stafford, I gotta give him dude, that pass to Nakua when they were driving late in the fourth quarter on the sideline, that was a ridiculous throw and a ridiculous catch. And they had a shot. Like the Rams had a shot. to win that game. So I think the jury is still out on the Eagles. Like, I know they're good. You got to give them respect and all that. They're a number 1 seed. But at the same time, I do think they're beatable. I thought
and you also saw that weather did play a role. It was a factor because holding onto that football was very difficult. It was like a frozen rock in your
popsicle.
hand. Right.
Yeah.
You know? And guys who like Mark Andrews isn't known for fumbling, and he fumbled in a very clutch moment. Like, right?
Yeah.
Very, very big moment. And Stafford fumbled in a very big moment. And those fumbles I don't think happen when it's sunny skies and I don't know 40 degrees, right? But the snow flurries, and I mean there was at one point the snow was coming down so much in Philly I couldn't really see, and I'm thinking about how are these guys even seeing?
It's got to be tough. Yeah, it's got to be really tough, especially in those conditions, like you said. I mean, it's
you know what though? Sirianni had Big Dom covering up with like blankets and jackets, and I think he like gave him like some of those little pocket heaters you use when you ski. You know,
can I go double guns? Can I go double guns on Fat Dom? Hey Dom, check this out. It doubles, 2 of them. Yeah.
Dom.
Big Dom. Well, you know, I would question Sirianni as to why do you insist on having your quarterback flinging the ball around, getting his ass thrown to the turf, and then almost getting his knee ripped open. When you got Saquon Barkley just methodically moving the chains and stuff, I thought that was kind of suspect. I would question some of the calls on the Philly side just for the sake of protecting their quarterback. Now, he's far less than 100%. He's definitely going to play. He's a tough kid. I like Jalen Hurts a lot.
Me too.
I liked him. And, you know, he never says a word. He's stone faced. I love that.
Yeah.
No BS. Just going out there and competing his ass off. And that's what he did at Oklahoma. And that's what he did at Bama before that. And I've always enjoyed him. I like Jalen Hurts. I really do.
Me too. I do too. And did you happen to see the pregame segment with Sal Paolantonio and AJ Brown?
Yeah. Oh, Sal Paolantonio. Oh, yeah. No, I didn't actually. No, I didn't see it.
Because I don't know if you saw last week, AJ Brown was. They found him. The TV cameras found him on the sideline reading a book called Inner Excellence.
Yeah.
Well, so they interviewed Sal Paolantonio interviewed AJ about it, and he's just like, "Hey, man, I needed a moment to check myself," and I was like, "Wow." That was because I always thought he was kind of a hothead and kind of like a me guy, and I was like, wow, he's really matured, and that made me like him more. Yeah. And I was really glad that they did that segment. And I if you can find it on YouTube or go Google it, everybody, it's really worth the watch because it shows AJ Brown as like a really down to earth, chill guy, and supposedly that catapulted the author's book. The book is called
Number One. Number one.
Went
Incredible.
To number 1.
Incredible.
And then I
think we should give him a phone. We should give him a phone. We should give AJ Brown a phone so he can watch Paulie's Particles on the sidelines because I want to be number 1 too. You know what I mean? Just like that best-selling author. Help out a brother on the West Coast with a little Paulie particle viewing on the sideline. We've already got the 3 million people interested enough to respond to that tweet. So what the hell? Hey, Creative Tony, listen, I see the clock is ticking furiously, so check this out.
Tick tock.
Look at you now.
That was just, I don't know. That was just,
I don't know what that would best probably not to even acknowledge that. Creative Tony, I want to say we got to at least talk about the national title game for a minute or two, and then top 3, and then we get the hell out of here and let everybody get back on with their day.
Or we could make the national championship part of Tony's top 3.
Let's see. This is why I hired Creative Tony. He's consolidating ideas. He's compressing everything into one nice, neat little package. With me, it's just going to come spilling out all over the table. So, yes, let's do a Creative Tony top 3. Get the national title game in there for tonight, and then we'll wrap this up and say bye-bye.
Tony's top 3.
By the way, my friend Brian.
Tony's top 3.
One more. You got one more, Paul. You got one more.
Tony's top 3.
Hey, Brian Eric's a big fan. He was singing that song at the party. I was hanging
Get out of here.
Yeah, he was going Tony's top 3. He was singing it, so it works. Also, can I make a special announcement real quick?
Go. Yeah, go.
Yeah, feed the ducks, man. Get it going. Get this thing going. This is what I need. I need this while I'm watching a Chiefs game just to keep my blood pressure down.
That's a great call. Just
sitting there with a pair of headphones on.
That's a great call.
Turn this up so the listeners can hear this. Yeah. You know what I mean? Come on. Tell me, who's kidding who? I'm a step away from lighting one up, bro. With this kind of vibe happening, I'm this close. Although I don't have anything, I'd have to go downstairs for that. But in any case, that's what it's kind of conjuring up. Thank you, Creative Tony. You can bring it right back down now.
Yep.
And I want to make a special announcement and say that this week on Polymax Particles, we will reintroduce with some new bells and whistles the mystery guest segment.
Yes.
So we're going to have our first mystery guest happening. In fact, it might even be tomorrow. I got to do some, I got to make a few calls today and stuff, make sure we can arrange this. But mystery guest will return this week, might even be back as soon as tomorrow. In the meantime,
You got to call your people.
You got to call your people. I don't want to get divorced, okay? I don't want you to tell me how good my coffee is,
I know how good my
Jules.
coffee is, Jules. You
Okay.
I know how good my coffee is, Jules.
Okay. By the way, I want that Tarantino okay back on my soundboard.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, good call. Yeah, I'm making a note of
I
that.
like when Harvey Keitel's kind of trying to cool his jets down. He goes, are you a millionaire? He goes, no, I'm not. And he goes, well, you know, your Uncle Marsalis is. And he goes, you know, what is this? What do you got here? You got some kind of wood dresser here? What is that, oak? And then they get into, well, mahogany would be nice, actually. But anyway, Creative Tony, go ahead. Sorry, I took it off the rails there. Give it to me.
Sorry. Okay, so Tony's top three.
Yeah.
It's just a basic entry into the national championship because, I mean, you've got Ohio State and you've got Notre Dame. Ohio State going for their first championship in 10 years. Notre Dame, 36 years since they've had a title.
That's right, Tony.
Ohio State 10-point favorites. Okay, that's a big spread. But again, I think Notre Dame not only could cover the spread, I think they could win the game. I want to know who you think. Okay, well, let's talk about it. Okay. I want to know who you think wins the game. I feel like Notre Dame, they've always been like a tight end school, right? You know?
Oh, yeah.
It's like I feel like they're what's the name of their tight end again? I can't remember. Mitchell Evans. That's what it is. Mitchell Evans. Because like Tyler Eifert, Kyler Rudolph, Cole Kmet. I was reading this article earlier, and it's like, God, Notre Dame just a tight end factory. I feel like the tight end's going to play a big role, and Jeremiah Love for Notre Dame is going to hopefully has a big game as well. But I want to know your thoughts on the national championship and who you think wins the game.
I'm just smiling because I dig this groovy bed, man. It's groovy bed. It actually has calmed me down.
Nice.
I'm dead serious. At the beginning of the show today, dude, I yelled so loud I muted the mic. That's never happened, and I'm starting to like decompress, and it's all thanks to Creative Tony's music bed called "Feeding the Ducks." I don't know.
By the way, real quick, before we move on to, we were just talking about Keitel and Tarantino in the kitchen of in Pulp Fiction. Just for a second. Oh shoot! Hang on 1 sec. Shoot.
You're good. I got you, baby. You got to work.
I know. Shoot. All right. Well, it didn't work out because it has.
Maybe
all
try and bring it back later. Yeah.
It has all the pictures. Shoot. There's a great picture of Keitel just choosing his coffee.
Yeah. You need to make some calls. You need to talk to your people. Here's what I think about the game tonight. First of all, I boil everything down to this. I think that's a big spread for starters. And when it comes to like big college games, I always think about, all right, well, what's the 49er like legacy involvement with both schools? Now, I got to start with one of my favorite guys on the planet, Dante Whitner. I love Dante Whitner. He's a Buckeye for life, and he loves talking to Ohio State. But, dude, you're going over to Notre Dame now, and you're giving me Bryant Young. You're giving me Joe Montana. That's going to tip the scales over towards Notre Dame for me. That's just for me. And I got no problem with Ohio State. But again, I always kind of compare these things, dude, to which school helped the Niners more. And I think that Notre Dame, you could build a great argument and say, like, without Joe Montana, they wouldn't have had those 4 Super Bowl rings. So anyway, I like Notre Dame tonight. I agree with you. I think they got a great ground game. That's like Ohio State. Apparently, their biggest task is to stop the Irish rush game. I'm not a college expert. I think we all know this. So that's about the extent of my analysis for this game. But I do think Notre Dame can win based on what I've seen recently. They look awfully good to me. And I think to think that Ohio State's going to come in tonight and roll them, I think is probably a mistake. Anyway, that's where I'm coming from, T. How about you? Who do you like tonight and why?
I like Notre Dame to at least cover, but I think they also have a shot to win the game. I really like that running back Love, but those Ohio State receivers, it's going to come down to, can Notre Dame stop those Ohio State receivers? And if they can, they win the game, basically is how I feel. Jeremiah Smith, and I also am just rooting against Ohio State just because I love the underdogs. I love the fact that Notre Dame going for their first one in 36 years. I would love to see them win it. I think most of the country, I feel, is rooting for Notre Dame outside of Buckeyes nation, and
Well, and the
Buckeyes fans.
Buckeyes have been there a lot. Like they're
Yeah.
always in the mix or out on the perimeter somewhere, like trying to get back into the top. The Irish, I mean, they haven't been this far in a very, very long time. In fact, I believe their last national title was 1988. So that's like a lifetime, essentially. And it's time. So yeah, just for the sake of some new blood and stuff, I'll be rooting for the Irish tonight. Creative Tony.
Like you said, the Joe Montana BY vibes. Come on. I mean,
how great is Bryant Young just hanging out and talking to him?
Oh.
How great is that experience?
But what blows me away is the few interactions I've had is he's so mellow. And he's so chill. But then he has that switch that he must flip when he puts the pads on, and just, wreaked havoc all over the field.
You and I are lucky, man. We've seen some of the greatest football players in the history of the sport come through San Francisco. We're very lucky. But I will tell you this. I was a season ticket holder at Candlestick in the 90s. And I got to tell you, I don't know that I've ever seen a D lineman go more balls out on every snap than I saw with Bryant Young. Like even when they were having bad years under Erickson and those early 2000s, after it got ugly around here, but BY was still like a bat out of hell on every snap. So I love the guy. I really do. I love Bryant Young. I love Brian Piccolo. That's for all you guys who know what I'm talking about right there. Creative Tony, move on to number two.
Yeah. Number 2, Utah. Give me 2. Yeah. How can the Bills beat the Chiefs? Number 2. How can the Bills beat the Chiefs? Because, the Chiefs and the Zebras. How can the Bills beat the Chiefs and the Zebras?
Okay, I'll acknowledge that after I acknowledge Dom Peralta on the text. So, by the way, Dom, I never asked you this question. Any relation to Stacy Peralta, the award-winning
great question,
filmmaker and also original Dogtown Z-boy from
Peralta.
Venice Beach?
Yep.
Yeah, Powell Peralta, bro. Bones Brigade. Let's get into it. And shout out to my guy, Jay Adams. That's my favorite of all time, Jay Adams. I know a lot of people like Tony Alva. I became a big Jay Adams guy. Rest in peace. Rest in peace, Jay Boy. But anyway, tell me if you are related to Stacy Peralta, because if so, you're going to have to connect us. Okay, yes, I think the Buffalo Bills can win the game.
Yep.
By the way, you got a spread for me, T, on that game? What are the odds at this point on a Monday
you know
morning?
what? I did have a spread. Hang on. It's KC is -2. And also Philly is -5.5 already.
Whoa!
Yeah.
You want to see how fast I can take the Commanders on Friday during the hot and sour?
No question.
I can't wait to take the Commanders. But in any case, I think Josh Allen showed us yesterday, and just the way Josh Allen handled himself in the post game last night. Did you see his post game? He had the ski hat on.
Yep.
All business, dude. All business. This is a guy I think poised. He's on the brink and he's ready to take that step. Again, how do you beat the referees, Tony? I can't answer that. So no, because you go, how can you beat the Chiefs and the officials? I don't know. Because like you said, what are you supposed to do when Mahomes is out there like essentially breakdancing? Dude, he's a step away from doing the worm. You know what I mean? That's like his next thing. He'll be doing the worm. He'll be doing the robot down the field, walking backwards and shit, like the moonwalk, like Michael Jackson. So dude, I don't know. I don't know how you beat the refs, man. How you tell me? How do you beat the refs?
I don't know. I don't know. But you mentioned the worm. That used to be my wedding dance floor move when I was more limber. I used to bust out the worm or the centipede, as we called it.
Well, I never thought
a dolphin dive, like a dolphin dive in my breakdancing days. A dolphin dive into a centipede.
Well, you're not going to you're not going to acknowledge something like that and think you can just skate to the next segment because I got a lot to say. Listen, I've seen Creative Tony with the cardboard. I've seen it. Now, I haven't seen it in a while, and you're getting older. Like you're in your 50s now. Like a lot of us are getting older. But I got to say, I almost went somewhere I shouldn't. I'm going to show some restraint. But Creative Tony threw the cardboard on the ground one time, and dude, you got some spin going, bro.
Yeah, get some backspin and all that stuff.
Creative Tony can break dance, y'all. I'm just throwing it out there, and it's at some point. I would encourage everybody on the comments line, maybe not today, give the guy a night to work on his moves. Maybe put the pressure on Tony to give us an example live on the air at some point. I'd love to see it. Didn't you say you breakdanced? You were breakdancing at a show once, like in the parking lot?
It was High Sierra Music Festival. There was a break off happening, like at High Sierra Music Festival. It was
like with a big circle of people watching and shit.
It was like 2 a.m, and I'm like, you know what? I got to get involved, and I got involved, and I didn't win though. Somebody outbroke me.
That's all right, dude. The fact that you can get a spin and get on the cardboard at all is impressive.
Can I give love to also 2 movies that molded me in my breakdancing days? Were
I hope you're going Boogaloo. I hope you're going
and Breaking 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah.
And also
you got to go
Beat Street.
Boogaloo. Yeah.
And Beat Street. Don't forget Beat Street.
I don't know that I've seen Beat Street. Give me a little bit. Who am I dealing
Paulie,
with
that's
in Beat Street?
unacceptable. You need to see Beat Street. And also Santa's Rap in Beat Street is phenomenal.
All right, well,
Phenomenal.
we're going to go toe-to-toe and starting to exchange ideas and concepts. Have you,
Yeah.
I hope you've been schooled in the Sacred Church of Crush Groove. Are you Crush Groove guy?
Yes.
Okay. All right,
Yes.
all right.
Yes.
You got LL Cool J.
Absolutely.
I got LL Cool J in Rick Rubin's office, and Cool J's like 16 years old with a big radio on his shoulder. You get the Fat Boys. You got DMs. In fact, you know what, dude? I'm gonna watch Crush Groove today.
Nice.
Why play
Nice.
games? You know what I mean?
And
Why,
don't sleep on those soundtracks, man. The soundtracks for all those movies were so good. So good. So
people don't realize now because it's so far behind us, but people don't understand the effect that Run DMC had on not just music but the culture. Like
Yep.
they were the first big, really big. That album Raising Hell sold millions and millions, and it really kind of put hip hop on the map in a mainstream way. I remember I was there. I was a kid. I was like watching this whole thing happen. I couldn't believe it. But Run DMC, I just want people to understand. You always got to acknowledge. And dude, rest in peace, Jam Master Jay.
I know.
Nah, throwing it out there.
I
It makes me
know.
very unhappy. I know.
I'm trying to get my kids into Run DMC. I have Raising Hell on vinyl, and I play because they like rap, but some of the rap they try to play for me is just.
Well, you know what you should do for them today? Because it's a perfect tie-in for MLK Day. I'm being dead serious.
Yeah.
You should play them. You know, I'm about to bleed back, y'all. And that's a fact, y'all. And if you try to take a mine, I take a back, y'all. It's
Nice.
like that. Or whatever he's doing. I know. But I'm
Yes.
proud to be black. You know, I'm proud to be black, y'all. And that's
Totally.
a fact, y'all. Yeah, because it's all part of the same idea.
And it's also just their lyrics were fun. They were rapping about their Adidas, you know, and rapping about like, I don't know, walk this way. I played Walk This Way, and I explained to them how when that came out, how like the timing of the worlds colliding of rock and roll and rap was such a huge song for like worlds colliding. It was great.
Yeah. Maybe
yeah.
the dirtiest lyrics of all time, too. I love the lyrics of Walk This Way. I got to shout out to Mark Graves in the comments line. He goes, hey, if Tony breakdances now, you're going to be looking at a different outcome. And then honorable mention to my man Dub City. Dub City goes, you guys talking Crush Groove, Electric 2 Boogaloo, breaking. He goes, you better remember rapping. Starring Mario. Bro, I wish my name was Van Peebles. How great would that be? Paulie Van Peebles. You know what I mean? I just like the sound. Van Peebles. I'm down with the name. Yeah.
And also Darren Reyes. How about yes, you be illin', dude. Yes. Come on. Oh, yeah, come on.
All right, T, let's wrap it up, dude.
All
We're
right.
way into bonus minutes, and we got to get the hell out of here. So give me your final installment of Tony's top 3. Yeah.
Number 3.
Yeah.
I was bummed out yesterday because I love Sunday brunch, right? I love brunch. I just love the whole idea of brunch.
Well, it kind of goes, yeah, that's a big revelation now, brunch.
It's great. And it's
you
also
got
like
mimosas? You got mimosas happening?
the bottomless mimosas or bloodies, right? You can do the Bloody Marys. But I couldn't do brunch yesterday because the kids' games, and I was bumming because I'm like, I remember the days where I used to do Sunday brunch right into a playoff football like bonanza, right, on a Sunday. And I'm like, oh, I didn't get my brunch. And I wanted to know, are you a fan of brunch? Because I'm a huge fan of brunch. And if you are a fan of brunch, what's the dish that you're going to if you're eating a dish and drink that you're having for brunch?
All right, I'm gonna come right to the forefront and say cannabis infused pancakes. Boom. How you like that? You got me? I've had them. I've had them. And by the way, there's a little greenish hue going on there. There's a greenish tint. There are a lot of chefs now at least in the Bay Area, who are doing like cannabis infused dinners. I'm being dead serious. They bring out like a 3 or 4 course meal, and each meal is lightly kind of enhanced with cannabis additions. I might have been to a dinner like that. Yeah, I might have been to a dinner like that at one point, and it was a lot of fun. But yeah, I've had the cannabis pancakes. I support them. And also for me, it's got to be a pot of coffee at least. I go coffee. I'd go champagne and orange juice. I'd be like kind of taking turns, and then all the while, hydrating. I found like the older I get, dude, I gotta hydrate when I'm drinking alcohol, because it drives me out and my voice goes and stuff. It's crazy. So I gotta keep hydrating, Creative Tony.
Beautiful.
Leah Phillips going Denver omelet on your brunch question.
I got to
Get
go eggs
robbed.
Benedict. I got to go eggs Benedict.
Okay, I'm
Eggs
not gonna
Benedict.
stop you.
Right,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I do. They do this. I got to give a shout out to the Fire Sign Cafe in Tahoe, right near Sunnyside on the west shore of Lake Tahoe.
Right.
Fire Sign Cafe. They have their Benedict menu is incredible. They do the Baker's Benedict that has these big sausage patties. If you're into that, I do the Veggie Benedict with tomato, avocado, and hollandaise, and it's just slamming.
You're going Benedict. I'm going
Slamming.
to shout out Benedict Cumberbatch, great actor, and yeah, Benedict Cumberbatch. I got his back. He was a great villain in one of the Star Wars movies.
Yep,
I'm a big
yep.
Star Trek. Excuse me, Star Trek. Big Trek fan, big Captain Kirk fan, and I like Chris Pine as Captain Kirk, and I like Benedict Cumberbatch.
Underrated fact about you is that you can go deep on Star Trek.
Well, not only me. Here comes Rags. You'll hear from Rags in about 10 seconds. Get ready. He's going to be typing it up right now. Rags and I used to stay up because back in New Jersey when we were in high school, they showed Star Trek every night at midnight. Here was the lineup. It would go 11 o'clock would be The Odd Couple, 11:30 Honeymooners, midnight Star Trek, and then to wash it all down, the Twilight Zone at 1 a.m. So you had a block. You had a block from 11 to 1:30 a.m. of just 5-star viewing. So we watched tons of Star Trek growing up. And here they come. There's Rags. You got him. They throw him up there. He goes beyond me.
Look at Help Me Spock. We're getting Help Me Spock. Help Me Spock.
James Tiberius Kirk all day. Rags, answer me this because you and I haven't talked about this. I have a question for Rags specifically. Rags, do you endorse Chris Pine as Captain Kirk? Because I do. I like him a lot. And I also like the guy playing Spock. I like all of them. I really do. And I like the guy that got his Spock, too. Creative Tony, I want to make a major confession. Yes. I'm going to say something I've never said on the air before.
Bring it.
And then I think, that might be a good way to wrap things up. But it looks like
I have a couple things to wrap as well before we say goodbye. So go.
All right. I want you to make an embarrassing confession, too, just to help out my very delicate and fragile psyche and ego. So I'm going to admit something that I'll probably
I'll admit something after you admit something.
Okay, you ready for this? This is a true story, man. How far did we take our Trek fandom back in the day, Star Trek? Ready?
This is good.
Ready?
This is good.
I was probably 14, 15 years old tops. Rags and I out in Jersey. We get on a bus, dude. We get on a bus together, and now we're busting into New York City. You want to know why? Star Trek convention.
Ooh,
I've done it. I've done it. I went to a Star Trek convention with Rags, and guess what? We got to the convention, bro. It's everything you think it is. You got guys walking around with the Spock ears. You got dudes in the uniforms. They had Bones. Dr. McCoy was like the big guest that day. And there we were. I've been to a freaking Star Trek convention. I defy you to top that with your confession. What do you got?
Oh, okay. Well, if we're going confessions, I got to be honest. So I've had an issue. I'm Italian, so I get hair on my back. And
you do. You're a hairy guy in all these places.
Yeah. Well, except for the dome.
That's what I'm saying. It's kind of odd. Yeah. You got you're like a grizzly bear, except from the eyebrows up. It's an interesting thing. Yeah.
My brother-in-law, Rich. What up, Rich Hunt? One of the finest in SFPD, but he also has this similar issue. So we took a family vacation years ago to Hawaii, and Rich shows up and he goes, "Tony, look what I brought," and he brings a tube of Nair.
Okay.
I go, what are you thinking? And he goes, let's Nair each other's backs. And I go,
by the way, I think that product has been banned. I think they outlawed Nair. This is shit we grew up with that they took off the market. The FDA was like, I think this stuff can kill you.
It literally burns your skin. Like,
yeah, so it's like putting a flamethrower on your back. Nair. It's like it's awful. It was a hair removal product that no longer exists. But go ahead, T.
Yes, Nair. If you want to do a deep dive, check out Nair. Google Nair. Anyways, we put Nair on each other's backs. And then you take a towel and you just kind of push the Nair down the back, down your back.
That's gross. Yeah.
And then it peels all your hair away. And it was smooth as butter. And once we were done, it's like, oh, this is amazing.
Yeah, but I gotta ask, like, why not just have your buddy who sprayed you with Nair, just give him like a buzzer and let him just like shave, like buzz clip the hair up. And by the way, how about this conversation? Shaving your back. Never thought it would come to this on a championship week, but that's where we are today. We're shaving backs. Yeah.
You asked for a confession, dude.
I did. Thank you. It's true.
Then, so it felt great, and it makes too much sense to use the razor. And plus, I've used, the clippers or razor before, and I'll resort to that as well. But Rich and I were so excited that we decided, hey, well, now let's get out and let's go to the beach. And we told our families, let's go to the beach. We're ready to go. We go out into the sun. An hour into the sun, both of our backs complete rash.
Of course.
The rest of the week. The rest of the week, I couldn't take my shirt off. The rest of the week.
You're lucky you got any skin left at all. You're lucky it didn't just strip it all right up. But so one last thing on Nair, because I do think it requires like an explanation to younger people. Yeah. This is a hair removal product. You can spray it, I think, right? It was like a spray can?
No, it was like a cream.
A cream. Check this out. There's another true story. Rags will back me. Back in when I was growing up, Halloween was a lot different than it is now. Now it's become like nobody even rings our doorbell anymore on Halloween. Like trick-or-treating is kind of getting phased out almost. It's really weird. Or at least in my neighborhood, it's very quiet up here, so we don't get
that's
anybody.
A bummer.
But when I was a kid, we would go out in the street and we would have like shaving cream fights and stuff. And they would take like the can of a hairspray bottle and put that on the shaving cream, and you could spray it like 10 feet and all. One Halloween, when I was back in Jersey, I remember there were rumors going around, dude, don't go on Powerville Road tonight, man. They're using Nair over there, bro. They're saying it's a shaving cream fight, but they're really using Nair. I remember that. Yeah, that was like going around that rumor. Dude, they're using Nair on Powerville Road. In any case,
so there you go.
Oh, it's still available?
Yeah, still available.
Wow. Hey, use at your own risk. Creative Tony told you it's essentially radioactive. It almost took all the skin off his back. So proceed with caution. I mean, I don't know how I would use a razor. That'd be my advice. You need to shave something. You razor up. Creative Tony, I don't know.
And by the way, to answer Rags' question, no, I didn't go Nair down low, Rags.
Bag. I see. I didn't know what he was talking about. Okay, right. Well, I should know. Bag. No, you don't. I'd be the last place you want to have Nair involved with.
No Nair on the bag. No Nair on the bag.
Yeah. Hey, Tony, I love you, but I think it's time we got to go, Stacey. We're way deep into bonus minutes, so final thoughts.
Final thoughts is, Paulie, all I got to say right now is you have said multiple times the phrase, enough's enough. So I'm just going to present you with this on the way out. Enough, enough.
By the way, you know who I think is a fan of Enough's Enough? I think, by the way, nice album, nice record. I like the purple and black. Interesting. Did you know that I could be way off base on this, but for some reason, our friend Renee from K-Fog, I think she's an Enough's Enough fan.
Oh, come on.
I swear to God. Because I think the reason I know that is because she's the only person who's ever mentioned that band outside of you. And it kind of stayed in my head. I'm like, wow, Renee likes Enough's Enough. That's weird because Renee's
Enough's enough with the refs, man. Enough's enough.
Thank you, Creative Tony. Thank you, commenters. Creative Tony, can we forecast our show's start time tomorrow? Are we ready to reveal such matters, or do we want to do that online later?
I would like for you to reveal what time we're going, because I am happy to go. Whenever you go. I know that we're doing a nighttime show on Wednesday. We're going back to Night Flight on Wednesday, 9 o'clock Night Flight. I know that on Wednesday.
Shout out Zeppelin Night Flight, but go ahead.
No question. Shout out Night Flight. And then tomorrow, I leave it in your capable hands, Paul.
I'm going to make a call right now. I'll see you tomorrow at 2. Why 2? Because it's good for me and it's good for you. Now I'm rapping. I can't believe we're rapping on the air because I did Run DMC today. I'm kind of in the mood. Crush Groove awaits. I'm on my way to watch Crush Groove. Be a nice little 1-2 punch. Crush Groove Arrow National Championship. Creative Tony, go.
Go Irish tonight. That's how we're going. That's how we're living. Go Irish and go Commanders. Go Bills as we forecast throughout the week. And Paulie, you said we'd like to include our commenters and let us know, like, if there's a time that you guys are into that works better for you. Like, because we're feeling out different times during the week to try and see what works and we're throwing stuff at the wall and see what sticks. So we'd love to get your feedback as well. On the screen is our email address. Feel free to drop us a line, email. Dub City, I'm waiting for those Ticket 1050 tracks. He's going to send us some old Ticket 1050 cuts from you and I, our days on 1050, Paulie.
We can cut them up and play like the greatest hits. It'd be kind of cool. We'd probably sound like little kids, dude, at this point. Like, hey, Tony, what's going on, man? Got to shout out my guy, John Joseph. John Joseph, I don't think there's a better way we could have ended the show. He's coming over the top now, like Sam Bam Cunningham, just jumping over the line, and he's dropping, I have that Enough's Enough record. I have. John, that's how you end the show. John, that's how you wrap us up. I'm impressed. Respect. Creative Tony, so much love to you. So much love to the commenters. Everybody enjoy MLK Day. Everybody enjoy your day off, and then enjoy the national championship tonight. Go Fighting Irish. Go Bob Fitzgerald. No disrespect to the Buckeyes, because Dante Whitner's got a big place in my heart. But again, we're talking Montana and Bryant Young here, for Christ's sake. What do you want from me? Creative Tony, we'll see you at 2 o'clock tomorrow. Utah, give me 2. All right. And
Utah, give me 2.
And one last shout out with 2 digits in the air has to go to the principal in Breakfast Club who goes, I got you, Bender. I got you for 2 months. I like how he flips it. Like there's no really reason, but he flips it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I got you, Bender. I got you for 2 months.
You mess with the bull, young man.
Yeah.
You get the horns.
And then he just holds him up and keeps him there for effect.
Yes.
Shout out Principal in Breakfast Club. That's my guy. Walking around with the toilet paper hanging out of the backside of his pants. Creative Tony, I'm out of ideas for the day. I think it's time we go right into the sunset and watch Crush Group. Love y'all. See y'all tomorrow. Peace, everybody.
Take care, everybody.
Good jam, T. Peace, y'all.